Now, as far as I'm concerned, in a democracy, you can and you may say anything except advocate hatred, advocate negation of others, and incite violence against others because of real or supposed differences between ourselves and the others. Now, this happens to be a topic that I'm very, very interested in. Earlier on, when I arrived here by tram, I've just finished reading Mein Kampf, and I bought the book of a friend, Antoine Wittkin, who's just written a remarkable book of inquiry into Mein Kampf. He explains how Hitler wrote this book. Now, Hitler had the nerve to say what he thought, and not only that, but to justify it. It was a political project in which he reveals the very basis of his thought, his ideology. In other words, the words have to be used. We're talking about ideology. Ideology. People who want to defend or criticize certain ways of in which Islam is attacked they're not doing this because they are very spiritual people, but because they're defending an ideology. They want to instrumentalize their religion for political purposes and ideological purposes. So it is becoming very important to stop any attempt to forbid or prohibit criticism of extreme views which are being imposed on the world as a whole. I'm going to try and be brief, but it's a very complex subject. Now let's start at the beginning. I have never heard anyone criticize the fact that Muslims pray 5 times a day. I've never heard anyone say, well, it's completely stupid to go to Mecca on a pilgrimage. I have heard more people say it was stupid to go to Lourdes, for example, or that it was not very progressive to go to Mass once a week. In fact, I've heard far more people criticizing the fact that people use the Quran and promise to terrorists blowing themselves up a large number of virgins when they get to paradise. I think there needs to be a criticism of those who want to make slaves of their women simply because this is their way of backward thinking. These people need to be criticized. Criticize the way of thinking of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is extremely insidious and infiltrating our way of thinking. Well, if that is Islamophobia, then I'm the first of the Islamophobists. If you criticize Wahhabi Islam, which will sentence a 70-year-old woman to so many lashes simply because she allowed 25-year-old men to come and visit her to bring her something. Well, this is absolutely ridiculous and needs to be criticized. If this is Islamophobia, criticizing this kind of behavior, then I'm an Islamophobe. We must not wait here. We must not be undecided. Those who, in my view, say that we're in a war of religion, this is totally wrong, I think. those who are speaking of a shock of civilizations are wrong too, in my opinion. But we have a confrontation, a shock of values. And this is not something which opposes the North and the South. It's not something which opposes Muslims and non-Muslims. There are also non-Muslims in the extreme left wing, for example, who defend a very backward way of thinking in the name of cultural relativism.